In today's video, I am going to show you how to draft and sew a classic A-line denim skirt. It will have a button closure waistband, a front fly. Front pockets will feature a ticket pocket and the option of a fun contrast lining if you wish. On the back, you will have the classic back yoke design and back pockets. I'll show you how to do flat felled seams and faux flat felled seams for a strong, tidy skirt. I am Elfie Sew and I create sewing content for all abilities. Please hit subscribe to join in. Begin by tracing your skirt block. If you don't have a skirt block, check out my video linked above, taking you step by step to draw your own skirt block to your body measurements. At this point, decide on the length of your skirt you want to create or draft to the knee and then adjust this at the end when you create your first toile. We will first change to an A-line skirt from a straight skirt. To do this, draw vertical lines from the tips of your darts down to your hem. Cut along these lines and cut out your darts. Pivot from the dart tip and close the darts. Insert paper behind the holes that open and connect the hem with a nice smooth line. If you prefer, you can trace this to fresh paper, but going forward you'll be left with this shape, no darts and no holes. Extend the hem out by 2.5 cm and join in a smooth line up the side. You can change this to anywhere down to 0.5 cm if you want less flare. Clean up and you are left with this A-line shape. Now we will form the waistband. If you want your skirt to sit lower than your waist, first cut the top away by the amount you want it to sit lower. If you want it to sit exactly at your waist, just proceed as you see here. I want a 3 cm wide waistband, so draw a line 3 cm down on the front and the back. Cut and label these up. I find it useful to mark the centre back and the centre front point. Focusing on the back, we're going to draw the yoke. I measured 7.5 cm down at the centre back and 2.5 cm on the side seam. Join these 2 points up with a smooth, slightly curved line. Cut and label the back yoke. Next, draw your back pocket. I've not given dimensions or positions here because it is personal to your body shape where and how you place them. If you have a pair of jeans you like the fit of, I would copy them and use that as a starting point. That gives us our 4 pattern pieces for the back. To finish, add seam allowances. Now we move on to the front. The front will have more pieces, and because of the fly, you will need to create a left and right sides for the waistband. So trace your waistband. The reason for this is that you have the fly extending on the underlayer, so you have to extend the left waistband to allow you to place the button overlap. Use a pencil or different coloured pen and draw your pocket and zip. The dimension listed are only suggested. Depending on your body size, you may wish to alter these. Again, have a look at jeans you own and enjoy the fit of and use them as a guide. The zip fly is drawn first. Place paper over the zip area of the front and draw the shape you see here, so it overlaps the green fly shield I've drawn on my front. Add the fold on the smaller side. Once you have the fly shield, you can then extend your left front waistband by the width measurement of the fly shield. Next, we will create all the components of the front pocket. There are quite a few. The pocket bag is what you see internally. Place paper over your front piece and trace the top and side edge. Then curve it round. Make the pocket large enough to easily carry what items you hold on you. For me, that's my phone. On an additional paper, form the ticket pocket. This is the little pocket you see on jeans, usually without a purpose. It only goes on the right side and it should extend beyond the green pocket edge so you can't see the base. You can also trace off the fly yoke here whilst you're working. Just copy the green zip shape we made earlier onto another paper. With all these extra pattern pieces, add seam allowances and label them up as you go so you can identify them. The front pocket template is made next. This is the corner of your skirt with a seam allowance added from your green pocket shape line. This will be used during construction to cut the excess fabric away accurately. Some people remove it from the skirt front now. It's personal choice. I like the corner left intact so I can use it to help align all my parts. For the pocket facing, draw larger than your pocket line. I would suggest at least an inch clearance. Your pocket facing is the inside of your pocket you will be able to see when worn. So you need to leave room for moving and putting your hands in your pocket without the inside peeking out. Add seam allowances and label everything up, including the skirt front. Ensure all seam allowances are consistent with all these parts so that they match up. That's our pattern drafted. As you can see, it's made up of 13 parts. There is a lot. Label and mark your grain lines. Check you have centre backs and centre fronts marked up. Add notches where your parts will meet to help you. You can never have too much information on a pattern. With our pattern formed, we can cut our fabric. I used a medium to heavyweight denim with no stretch. When pre-washing your denim, I recommend washing it more than once and pressing it. Not only will this remove the last of the dye to stop it staining your skin, but the cotton will shrink a lot. I've worked with denim before after only one wash and then it shrunk again with the first wash as an item. For packet bags, I used this bright cotton lawn I had. Wanted some fun contrast, use a matching coloured cotton for more discreet pockets. With all new sewing projects, start with a fresh needle to get the best results and also prevent wear on your machine. You can buy needles labelled denim or jeans, or a universal needle size 116 will be strong enough to handle the thick multiple layers. For construction, we will begin with the back yoke, aligning the centre back seams right sides together. Sew with regular thread on a straight stitch, then press the seam open. Then press it to the right. We're forming a really strong seam called a flat felled seam. It's tidy and neat inside and out. Trim your seam allowance on your right side, so that the underside down to 1/4 inch. Fold the left, the larger seam, over the small. You're wrapping it inside. Then press it flat to the right again. The raw edges are hidden within the seam. Use pins to secure it. Now top stitch 1/8 inch from the folded edge to secure it down. During this step, you may wish to use a denim top stitch thread. This is a thicker, stronger thread, usually on jeans in a gold or orange tone so it stands out. I used standard thread as I wanted a plain skirt. The back skirt, we will again form a flat felled seam on the centre back. Align and pin the seam and sew right sides together. Press seam allowance open. Check with your back yoke as you work now so that you're folding in the same side, in my case the right. It doesn't really matter if you work left or right, you just have to work consistently throughout the project so your top stitching lines match. Trim the seam allowance down on the right side, then fold the left seam allowance over this. This is a much longer seam than on the yoke, so will feel more fiddly. Work slowly and use pins to secure it down. Once happy, top stitch the folded edge. The back yoke is attached to the skirt back next. We will do a faux flat felled seam for this. This is because it is a curve, so it sits neater. Pin right sides together, aligning the centre back seams and the edges. Sew at your 5/8 seam allowance with your regular thread, and then press the seams down together. This raw edge needs finishing. I will use an overlocker. You can use a zigzag stitch or bias binding if you don't have one. To strengthen the seam and make it look visually similar to the flat felled seam, top stitch the same distance as you did previously, securing the seam allowance below. For me, this is 1/4 inch. You can see how it appears the same externally as the centre back seams, but inside you can see the seam allowance. Back pockets are placed next. Use your toile to determine placements of pockets so you can do them accurately whilst the back is separate from the front. It makes it a lot easier. Interface your pockets for strength. Next, fold the top edge down by 1 cm, then a further 1 cm. Top stitch along the fold to secure permanently. I like to use 2 rows of stitchings on pockets. I find it visually it looks more appealing. Press the remaining edges under by 1 cm. If you want to decorate your pocket with a design, now is the time to do it. Just remember that pockets are usually a mirrored image of each other, not a carbon copy. Place the pocket on your skirt back. This can take time, but it's worth the effort and multiple measurements to get them correctly aligned. It will stand out on your body if you have positioned them not identical. If you're happy, top stitch 1/8 inch from the pocket edge to secure permanently, on all but the top edge. If you are doing 2 rows like me, Sew a second top stitch line at 1/8 inch in again from your first line. Set aside the back as it is now complete. Take your ticket pocket and in the same process as the back pockets, press under the top and side edge by 1 centimetre. I don't turn the top edge twice because as this is a pocket I will not use, it won't fray. Top stitch in place along the top edge using a double row. This ticket pocket gets placed on top of our pocket facing. Align the curves and pin in place. We will sew the straight edge at 1/8 inch. You only add the ticket pocket to one side. Place this on top of one of your cotton pocket bags. We will secure with a zigzag stitch all along the curve. This prevents fraying. Then use a straight basting stitch on the top and side edge. I used my standard zigzag settings on my machine. You can see it on the back when complete. Get your remaining 2 pocket bags and align right sides together with your skirt fronts. We will use our front pocket template pattern piece we made earlier to transfer the pocket curve line to our fabric with chalk. Sew with a 1 centimetre seam allowance from this line. Cut away the corner. Overlock this edge or zigzag stitch. Clip into the curve, being careful not to cut your stitches. Turn the pocket bag to the inside of the skirt and press. You may have to roll the edges slightly so you can't see the cotton fabric on the outside, especially with a bright contrast fabric like this. Secure in place by stitching along the curved edge. Again, you could use top stitching thread here for interest. Place your pocket bag with pocket facing attached behind your skirt front. You now get a feel for how it will look complete. Pin the 2 pocket bags together along the curved edge. Don't catch the skirt front. Sew this seam with a 1 centimetre seam allowance. Then finish the raw edge with your chosen method. Pin the pocket bag top edge and side seam. Baste in place with a straight stitch in the seam allowance. Complete on both sides. Fly zippers look intimidating but aren't. I have a tutorial that goes into detail of this step by step, which is attached above. I won't go into detail here as this video is already long and everything will be repeated anyway. And the front is complete with fly zipper and 2 pockets. The side seams are aligned with right sides together. You could do a flat felled seam if you wanted for this, but I prefer a faux flat felled seam as I have a significant hip to waist ratio, so my hip area is quite curved. If yours is straight or you've placed it lower on the waist, you may want to pick a true one. Press seams to the back and finish the raw edges. Then top stitch 1/4 inch from the seam, securing the seam allowance in place below. Just as we did when we attached the back yoke to the skirt back. When working with the waistband, it's really important to ensure you clearly know what section is the centre front. Once cut, this can be confusing. I use a pin on the end or mark it with chalk on the right side of the fabric. Interfacing one of each pattern piece, Then join them together at the side seams, right sides together. Press the seams open and repeat the process for the non-interfaced waistband. The non-interfaced waistband goes on the inside against the body. Press the bottom edge up by 5/8 inch. You'll notice how curved the waistband is here. This allows it to have a nice snug fit to the body. Align the two waistbands together, right sides facing one another, aligning the seams and edges. We will sew around the sides and top edge at your 5/8 seam allowance. To attach the waistband to the skirt, the interface waistband only is aligned with the top edge of the skirt, right sides facing one another. Ensure the front edges are in line with the zipper fly areas. Sew at 5/8 inch seam allowance, ensuring you do not catch the non-interface waistband as you go. Clip the corners to allow you to turn the waistband the correct way out. You want the corner to be nice and sharp so you have a neat finish. Really try to get a right angle. Also clip the length of the seam so the curve sits better. Fold the inner waistband down so the folded edge aligns with the stitches of the seam just completed. Aligning the centre back and the side seams to ensure you have no twists. The seam allowance should be pressed up inside of the waistband. Once pinned, you can secure this permanently by hand sewing with a catch stitch or stitching in the ditch from the front side. When you stitch in the ditch, sometimes it is easier to hand baste in place and remove the pins to work through your machine. There is less likelihood of movement. Use a jeans button for a traditional look or a regular button. Jeans buttons have a longer shank to account for the thick layers of fabric. Place the buttonhole on the top layer of the front fly in a horizontal position. Place as close to the centre front edge as possible, but be aware of the seam allowance inside near the edge that may create ridges and lumps that are hard for your machine to move alone. I always apply fray check before I open up a buttonhole, on the front and the back. Use a pin to get your button position correct on your underlayer waistband at the fly. Jeans buttons attach with a metal disc on the rear of the fabric, not through stitches. Usually you will require an awl to pierce a hole through the fabric and feed the button through. light tap from a soft hammer can secure it tightly. To hem your skirt, first try it on and check the length is as you desire it, and even all the way around your body. Once happy, press the bottom edge under by 1 cm, then press under again by another 1 cm. I prefer to work with clips than pins when doing a hem. Sew the bottom edge with a 1 cm seam allowance. Again, you may want to use top stitch thread here for contrast. Here is our completed classic denim skirt. It's an A-line shape sitting at the waistband. You have a front fly with jeans button closure on the waistband, pockets at the front with a ticket pocket for authenticity, and a back yoke with back pockets. It's functional and sturdy and is a wardrobe staple you can wear again and again confidently. If you have learnt from today's video, please hit like and subscribe if you'd like to learn more. I post sewing tutorials for all abilities. Happy sewing!